All right, this is the second video of our recording. My name is Wayne. Right, I will now demonstrate to you how we do continuous deployment using an application called argoCD. As mentioned by Rian in the previous video, that was the final installation that we did on the provisioning of the server itself. I've simply accessed that using a localhost tunnel. In that way, pretty standard way of doing things. In that way, it is pretty secure. So I have also logged on to this. There are various ways to do that. I think the thing to understand is that in our Confluence environment, we have created a document on how to set it up, right, and get it running in your browser as a browser application. So this document has now been used a number of times. It's vetted. As far as our DevOps team is, we have got quite a good document repository to date on the documentation of how we do things. I'm now going to go in to our Bitbucket environment, access the actual GitOps repository, which you will be able to see here. And we're in our GitOps repository, and this is the repository of where the code lives to deploy the various other bits and pieces, as you will see in this video, to be deployed on. This is set up specifically for argoCD to get in here, and according to these YAML files, it will start deploying the various bits and pieces that we require to be continuously deployed. Our setup at the moment is to deploy by push button, but on a live environment, the moment that file has been committed to the master branch on our GitOps repository, it will automatically deploy in our continuous build and continuous delivery process. So I'm going to just take a copy of our environment. At the moment, I'm just going to copy that over there because I need it here. Right, going to go into over here, and I'm going to go and create a new repository, right, for our continuous deployment. So by doing that, it is a SSH type repository. This is called our GitOps. And I will paste in the URL for this and assign the private key, right, as we note here, which is this one here, and I will assign that private key here. As I make the connection, it will load that application, and I now have access, as I said a little bit previously, to our GitOps environment, and I will now define bare metal as our deployment, and I'll go into the argoCD directory over there and start setting up the applications. To do that, I'm simply going to now create the application. Right? So instead of doing this manually, I'm going to call this Argo Apps. Right? And the project will be the default project. Sync project will be manual, be in the foreground, right head, and the path will be bare metal argoCD is the path. In that path, it will automatically find the argoCD YAML, being this one, all right? And it will start deploying according to the definition and what we want deployed, which is in the customization YAML over here. So in this way, it's going to deploy these applications: Cert Manager, Nginx Controller, namespaces, RBAC, monitoring, Rook, Ceph, RabbitMQ, MetalLB, Vault Console, and the metrics server will be deployed, because those are the deployments that are going to happen. Each one of these have got their own YAMLs defined over here. It'll be the default, right? I don't create a namespace for this, and I can go ahead and create. Okay. What our cluster is doing now is it's accessing that repository. We'll open up the first level of applications for us, and it will start deploying these applications, creating the pods and the containers and the various services for it to go into. So it's found the first one. I'm now going to tell it to synchronize according to that definition, and it'll go through, and there are the applications, as I said, that are in our customization YAML. These are the applications that are going to now be deployed automatically. So I'm going to give it the go ahead and try synchronize. A lot of interdependencies happen here. So from time to time, right, we need to resync these. If it's automatic, it will keep automatically trying to deploy until it actually gets a complete deployment happening. Right, so I'm going to just view 20 of these at a time. And as you see, the yellow ones are still in process, out of sync. And what we are now doing is we are preparing the cluster to be able to receive the software built, which will be inside version 2. We still have quite a couple of things to do and to get right in the environment, but we're at a good checkpoint from a DevOps perspective at the moment in terms of doing this. So you can see now that Cert Manager is deployed, dev namespaces have deployed correctly. The load balancer is still coming up. Argo Apps is quite happy with its little portion. Metric server still needs to be synced, right? And I'll go into some of these now, and we can have a look at what happens over there. So if I go into the Vault chart here, is deploying, and that is a service that's deploying. The Vault tells me it's still busy. These bits have deployed. What it's doing now is it's actually loading the container for the chart, right, and finding that into the pod, and the pod is on one of the worker nodes. Okay, so this is still in process at the moment. I'm going to clear filters to show the additionals, but that's the total deployment of what's happening, of all the bits and pieces of the software that we require. It's trying to assign storage volumes or persistent volume claims, trying to get to one which can show it actually in process of deploying. Let's have a look over here. Right, these are persistent volume claims waiting. These pods are still coming up. So it takes a while to build these services, right? And this will take a while. I will continue the recording, right? I'm just going to resynchronize this one and have a look if I can speed up the process of the automatic synchronization. Okay, a while to get there. You're more than welcome to just fast forward this, here that it is busy syncing. Okay. There's some more of these have come up and been in a successful or in a more successful state. Monitoring's come up. The Nginx chart is now up. Right, Prometheus will wait a while to load because it needs to have the root. So root and Ceph is now synchronized. Let's see, this one should be coming up quite quickly now as well. You can see that it's added some more. I think it's added another claim. But let's have a look at where this is. All right, let's try and come up properly now. And slowly but surely the cluster's coming up. Not that slowly. All of these processes simply are preparing for a software environment to be deployed. And once the software environment is deployed, deployment can happen very, very fast because this creates the infrastructure for rapid deployment. Okay, our Vault chart has just come up properly, right? There may be still that one process we're still trying to find persistent volume claims here. Okay, let's go and have a look at the rest of the environment. Console chart is still coming up with an in process. I know that that's important for Grafana and it's important for Prometheus. Usually is what holds them out. Right, the Vault is up. Right, the Vault will continue alternating between an up and a down process. Okay. As I said, the Vault chart keeps alternating between being completely synced and not being synced, and that's because it's waiting to inject keys. All right, Prometheus is coming up now and creating all its subservient bits. So as you can see, right, the whole lot's coming together. Right. And as I said, this one is quite a spectacular one to see coming up. Right. It did a redeployment because you'll see that the 2 minutes here has restarted from when it decided to redeploy itself. Okay. I forced the issue by forcing a resync. I think and a terminate, and then that started to come up itself entirely, since the rest of the cluster is now in a position to actually provide for it. Okay. And we'll go through that. Here's our application seems to be coming up. It still says it's out of sync, so it's still busy doing something, and there it is finally finished. Right, and that is our cluster completely up. Thank you all.